In the spirit of imagination and creative thinking, I wanted to read you one of my very most favorite books. In fact, it's my second favorite book in the entire world. Those of you that know me really well know that my favorite book is Pete and Pickles by Berkeley Breathed, but this one is a close second. Do you think you know what it is? If you guessed Ted, you're right. Okay, so we're going to listen to this story today to get inspired for different games that you could create for a writing assignment and imagination and just have a good old-fashioned read aloud. So here it is. All right, Ted by Tony DiTerlizzi. I'm not sure if I said that right, but it's a very cool name. Ted. Look at him. I love him so much. All right. Look, there's Ted peeking in on the little boy. Oh, I just love him. The party. Ted blew into my house one Saturday morning. He didn't even knock. I was eating cereal, and as usual, my father was busy in his study. "Hello, birthday boy," Ted bellowed. "Where are the raspberries?" "Sorry," I had said. "You have the wrong house. My birthday was last week." "Oh," he frowned, and then smiled a smug smile. "I'm Ted. And raspberries are my favoriteest food. They help me keep pinkish purpley. Do you have any?" He looked harmless enough, so I found him some raspberries and sat down to finish my cereal. "So, what's next, birthday boy?" I shrugged. Then I remembered my birthday gifts. "Wait, I'll be right back." A minute later, I returned with Monopoly under one arm and Twister under the other. Father gave me these for my birthday, but we haven't had a chance to play them yet. "Then let's party!" And so we did. We ate raspberry cereal and played Monopoly Twister. I knew that this would be the beginning of a beautiful friendship. When I told Father about Ted, he gave me one of his funny looks. "An imaginary friend, huh? I had one of those back when I was your age. Just try not to get into any trouble." Shave and haircut. A few days later, I asked Father to take us to the movies. Ted thought I should look my best. "First things first, take your bath and then I'll give you a shave and a haircut." "But kids my age don't shave." "Well, didn't you just have a birthday?" Ted asked. "That's right." Boy, Ted was a genius. Once I was out of the tub, Ted lathered my face real good and then gave me a shave. Then he glued bits of toilet paper to my face. "What are these?" I asked. "Oh, tissue plugs. They'll keep your beard from growing back." "Oh, so that's why Father does it." "It's not. It's for when you get cuts and you bleed." Then it was time for my haircut. I grabbed a chair and sat in front of the mirror. Ted tied a towel around me and snippity-snap, I looked like $1,000,000. Wow. Look at that hair. But Father didn't think so. How could you do this?" he asked. "Oh, Ted helped me. Don't you think he did a great job?" "Son, Ted didn't do this. You did." Father then spent the next 4 hours explaining to me the difference between real and imaginary friends. And I ended up at the barber, where I got the haircut that Father wanted. We never made it to the movies. The masterpiece. "I don't think my father believes in you," I said to Ted after the haircut thing. "No?" gasped Ted. "He must! He has to!" Still, I didn't think so, but I had an idea. Maybe we should paint him a picture. "Oh, can we do a big, humongous, life-size picture of me?" "I bet that would show your father." "But what do we do it on?" I asked. I didn't have any paper that was as humongous as Ted. "The walls, silly. They're so blank and boring." And then wishy-wooshy. Wow. It was a masterpiece. Father didn't think so. He couldn't believe how much of a mess I had made all by myself. "I have had about enough of this Ted character," he yelled after I said Ted helped me do it. "Now go get washed up. You're going to bed early while I clean up this disaster." I don't even think Father looked at our picture. I mean, it is pretty awesome. Indoor swimming. When did your father become such an old stuffy pants? Ted asked the following afternoon. And what do adults do for fun, anyways? I started listing all of the things my father didn't have time for anymore. When I got to swimming, Ted's eyes lit up like marshmallows. Let's make him a swimming pool! I wasn't sure if a pool was such a good idea, especially after the painting disaster. So I had a few questions. How do we make a pool? Where do we get the water? And what I wondered the most was, where are we gonna put it? Well, Ted, he had everything covered. It's easy, Ted explained. We'll use the garden hose and bring it in through the window and splishy splosh. We could even put it in your father's study. An indoor swimming pool? We'd be the only house on the whole block to have an indoor swimming pool. Ted turned on the water. I held the hose. Father's gonna love this. What do you think, guys? Is he gonna love it? Whoa. He didn't. Father was beside himself. I have had enough! I forbid you to ever play with Ted again. No more Ted ever. After we drained the house, Ted told me it was time for him to leave. But where will you go? I asked. Back home, he replied, to the old playground. The whole next day, all I could do was think about Ted. I felt pretty sad and alone. So I packed up my Monopoly and my Twister, my cereal and some raspberries, and I ran away to live with him. Father was still so steaming mad, he didn't even notice me slip out. Look, he left a note. Dear Dad, I went to go live with Ted at the old playground. Please don't worry. When I found Ted, I explained why I had run away. Oh, don't blame your father, he said. Sometimes when people grow up, they forget how to have fun. Your father told me that when he was your age. My father? Yep, but to him I wasn't Ted. I was Ned. Boy, the times we had playing space pirates. In fact, your father buried his atomic blaster right here under this slide. You knew my father too? I was amazed. Suddenly there was a flashlight shining in my face. You shouldn't have run off like that. I was worried about you. It was my father. You were? I smiled. Of course I was. I'm your dad. Now come on, we're going home. But what about Ted? I asked. My dad stopped. There is no Ted, son. But there is, I said. You used to play space pirates together, except you called him Ned. He even knows where you buried your atomic blaster. Dad was stunned. Huh? My atomic blaster? I was forbidden to play. I lost it somewhere. It's okay, Dad. Ted says you buried it here, underneath the slide. He's right. I remember. We started digging. And there it was, a bit rusty in spots, but it still lit up Dad's face. The atomic blaster had been found. Dad gave me a great big hug, and then he looked right at Ted. Ned, it's so good to see my raspberry-loving pal again, Dad grinned. Then Dad looked at me. Have I ever shown you how to play space pirates? No, I grinned. Then can we play Monopoly Twister? So we all went home and played one mean game of Space Pirates Monopoly Twister. The end. I hope you love that story as much as I do. It's true. Sometimes some grown-ups do forget about imagination and play and even how to have fun. So it's up to us to help remind them. See how much joy he had at the end when he remembered? So I hope this story brought you imagination and some creative thinking because we're going to use it in a follow-up writing assignment. Happy reading and happy writing. And most importantly, happy imagination.